Alright, everybody, I'm back in that doing my thoughts on the Batman. Not a bit of a review. Could have some spoilers in. I'll warn you if there is any spoilers, but I really should have done this a bit sooner. But it was basically what I said it was going to be like when it first got announced. Yeah, it's I was talking to CJH and that about it when it got announced that Robert Pattinson was going to be the Batman, and I said if Robert Pattinson don't lift any weights and that, then he's not going to be playing Batman. He's going to be Bruce Wayne, and the stunt dudes are going to be Batman. Which I watched it, and because I know about action films and that, I know when. Well, not all the time, because if it's done well, you won't know when the actor and the stunt dudes are being spliced. But when there's no splicing, that rather means it's going to be the actor doing it, or it's going to be the stunt dude doing it. Or like in Daredevil, where they did a bit of both, but they swapped where they went into a room and then changed positions, or yeah, and so one just stayed in the room and they weren't out fighting as Daredevil. But usually, and so I could tell oh yeah, Patterson starred nowhere near the Batman. So the only time he was in the Batman suit was rather when he was walking or sitting down. It's like imagine your granddad got picked to play Batman, but he had arthritis and that, and a bad back, and he can't walk upstairs all that good, but he can walk around the room a bit and he can sit down. But sometimes you have to lift him up, give him a bit of help getting up from sitting down. But if you just have him dressed up as Batman and you let him walk around the room or sit down and talk, he'll do all right. But any other part that's happening, then it's going to be a stuntman, because there's no way your granddad or Samuel Jackson's character from Glass is going to do anything else but walk around or sit down. And so I know, when Patterson started complaining that he didn't want to lift any weights, it was well, you're not going to be going on the stunt set, because people that can lift weights, if they haven't got the mental attitude right, they're not going to be allowed on the stunt set, because actors and stunt people and even the stunt crew members and that can get injured if something goes wrong, because you let someone in who starts crying and bitching about something when you're going for the take, and the man's out of focus. So I knew Patterson was getting nowhere near late. In fact, there's a scene in it where they even stunt double Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne in even fighting her out, all he's doing is opening a door, bending down a bit to go underneath this arch thing, and then just walking down a corridor. And it was one of them where, as I say, because I've watched loads of action films, and I've watched behind the scenes of action films and that I could tell that is a stunt dude, because they're not showing his face. It's all from behind, and the dude had some shoulders on him because they had to make it look, because there was too many scenes of fucking Robert Pattinson looking real skinny. Because I said when I was talking to CJH when it first got announced, I said he ain't going to be Batman. He's going to be Bruce Wayne. And I said what they need to do is they need to make some stunt scenes and some action going down, because no one's going to be wanting to see fucking Robert Pattinson's mangy fucking face. And they have to do big zoom ins because they know anything past the shoulders to show how scrawny he was. And I said, if they've got any sense about them, they're gonna fucking make some action scenes and that with some stunt dudes, which they did, where like people are liking this film. Some of them are saying, oh yeah, oh it's a great detective film, but there ain't much detective work in it, and Batman don't really do much detective work himself, because, well, the first clue gets solved by Alfred, sort of thing, even though he's supposed to have known the like code, but and then he uses his high-tech computer to solve the like first clue fully and that, and then bit of a spoiler here. At the end, he needs someone to help him out with the clue because he couldn't figure it out, and so yeah, it's got detective sort of elements in it, but when it comes to a great detective film, I'd say it was more on the lines of a pub quiz sort of detective film. But anyway, they know though, even if they had a great detective film, they needed some action in, and they put it in because it was on for 3 hours. Now, my theory on this, like, I haven't been listening to many YouTubers talk about it because fucking, as I say, I don't know what was going to happen. So as soon as Patterson started complaining about having to lift weights, it was like, right, well, this is what's going to happen. They're going to fucking make sure Patterson goes nowhere near the Batman suit, and they're going to be some good stunts, because you got stunt dudes doing the stunts, and so they're going to be good. You haven't got no actor. Oh, if they're like quite trained in that, you have got actors that can perform low-level stunts, because any higher or medium risk stunts, even if they can perform them, the film companies aren't going to let them perform them. They'll just let them perform the low-risk stunts and that. But Patterson, they won't even let him do that because he was probably so skinny, and he would have been crying and bitching about having to do stunts and that he might have fucked up and fucking snapped in 3 places. And it was probably hard enough getting him to film stuff without him being snapped in 3 places. So there was like no way was he going anywhere near the stunt set. And because as I've been saying, I've seen loads of stunt films behind settings, because like Bond films, if you want a good idea of what it takes in that to do like good stunts and that, watch the Bond films, because there's loads of stunts in the Bond films, and there's loads of Bond films, so you got loads of stunts in Bond films to like watch, and there's usually you have the behind the scene footage, and so you get to see how it's done in that, and so when you know a bit about fucking action films and how stunt fucking men and women have to work and that, you know, soy fucking bitches like fucking Robert Pattinson is going to be like nowhere near it. As I say, he got doubled for fucking Bruce Wayne part, which most of the time, even old age actors could have done that part. It'd have been like, oh yeah, yeah. There's not really. Oh, the hard part in that is just bending down. But as I say, it'd have been a question of right. We've got two options here. We can either get Robert Pattinson to do it, but then we're going to have to CGI the fuck out of his shoulders and that. Or we can get a stunt dude to do it and then just make sure he don't look at the camera and we just do it all from behind and that. Give him a Robert Pattinson wig. Fucking... Unless you like know about fucking action films and how much of a little soy bitch Robert Pattinson is, you're probably not going to notice it's a fucking stunt dude. But I did, as I say. There will be, right, in a few months, maybe a year, depending on how it gets done, but there'll be some interviews with stunt dudes who was like, yeah, I was playing every part of that 10-minute bit of Batman. You don't even see we didn't even see Robert Pattinson. We heard him crying in his trailer when the fucking director fucking started cheering because he wasn't allowed on set. Because yeah, the director, I'll give him a shout out. Yeah, I just looked it up. Matt Reeves, yeah. Honestly, it was one of them films where the director, considering what he had to work with for the Batman, because Matt Reeves didn't even want fucking Robert Pattinson. He wanted someone else and that. Fucking anyone else. He'd been happy with a wet piece of fucking lettuce leaf to fucking work with, because practically that's what he was dealing with. And he just knew, like, oh yeah, we got to get some action in this, and he pulled it out. In fact, there was more action in it than I thought there would be, because most people was all about, oh yeah, it's gonna be a detective film. Oh, there might not be much fighting in this. It's like, oh, not when you had Robert Pattinson's fucking monkey ass face in it. Matt Reeves was like, fuck, we're gonna put lots of fighting and we're gonna put fucking explosions in it, which got Anna, that Star Wars girl, quite fucking excited when the Batmobile car flies over the other cars, I think, and that, and explosions, and it, obviously in the stunt it had a ramp, but in that it's supposed to like probably have a booster. I don't know. Like, boost over the fucking like cars and that. Obviously you've seen it in the trailers and that, because I've noticed with the trailers they don't really let on there's much detective work and that. It's always usually seen the stunt dudes like fucking doing their stunts and that, and it's like, oh yeah, the Batman. But yeah, they were chasing the Penguin, and I didn't know until I like read like a comment on that Star Wars girl that someone was like, oh yeah, Colin Farrell played a great Penguin. And I was like, all right, that's why I've seen pictures of him on the set and that, because I thought, oh, why is Colin Farrell on the Batman set? Maybe it's one of them where he knows someone on the set and they said, oh yeah, if you want to pop on the set now and again, check us out and that. Maybe give us a bit of advice if you see anything, you know. But no, he plays the Penguin. Yeah. Yeah, the Riddler dude. His mask was still terrible and that shit. They should have stuck some question marks on it. 'Cause I thought they was going to put it in a suit, a green suit with question marks. I won't put no spoilers. They don't. He does wear a lot of green though, but no with no question. Maybe because they've set it up for a part two, but as I was saying to Cockney Mighty Spock or whatever, Captain Cockney Spock and that, yeah. They don't I don't think they're going to be doing a number two, because if they could get the director to direct a number two, he ain't going to want fucking Robert Pattinson anywhere near it. They'd have to pay him loads. And then, if they do pay the director enough money for him to direct the sequel, then they're going to have to pay Robert Pattinson 10 times as much to play Batman, because he ain't going to want to go anywhere near playing Batman, because it was probably traumatic for him. I reckon, like, when Robert Pattinson releases his biography or whatever, and he's talking about the time he filmed the Batman, it's going to be all about how he cried and how he just stayed in his room all day whilst the rest of the crew was filming Batman with stuntmen. So he was like, yeah, I don't think he's gonna want that experience again, unless, like, they just say to Robert Pattinson, right, well, all we're gonna do is use your face mapping, and we're just gonna map it onto fucking some stunt dude or some other actor that's gonna play you, but you don't have to go anywhere near it. You just sell us the rights to use your image. But I think they might have the rights for his image anyway. So yeah, but Robert Pattinson, I can't see him unless he fucking hears all the abuse he gets from me being a right little soy bitch, and he mans up. There's no way there's going to be a fucking Batman Part 2 with Robert Pattinson. And I'm thinking and all, because I know a little bit about fucking movies and that they might have tried to have filmed Part 1 and Part 2 and then set it up for Part 3, but because Robert Pattinson was fucking being a mangy little soy bitch, they thought, fuck it, we'll just merge Part 1 and 2 together and release it as the first one, do a 3-hour fucking film, because usually, like, 2-hour films, that's about, like, the average. So, but yeah, so I don't think there's gonna be a fucking Batman number 2, and if there is, it's definitely not gonna be having Robert Pattinson physically in it. It might be CGI'd in it, but yeah, because yeah, like I was saying, like, the director Matt Reeves deserves a fucking Oscar in that. I think they should do a new category of best film done whilst having a fucking soy nerd bitch as your lead. Because yeah, it's fingered and all. It's caused these other people that don't know about films to think, oh yeah, well, See how good Robert Pattinson did as Batman. I can be like Robert Pattinson. I can just fucking cram myself to sleep when I have to lift weights and that. And then I can fucking be the Batman. No. No, you fucking can't. What you can be is a soy bitch that can fucking look muggy as fuck as Bruce Wayne. There's a scene in it where I think it's probably the first time ever in a Batman film that Alfred, played by Andy Serkis, has more masculine hands than Bruce Wayne. The butler, who's washing dishes and putting fucking teacups away, has got more masculine hands than fucking Batman. But I was alright though, because it's like having sex with a woman with one leg. If you know she's only got one leg, then you're prepared, and so you're not thinking, oh yeah, I was a bit put off with the way, like, I just saw a stubble or something. But I was prepared for them, so I knew that it was going to be soy as fuck, the most soyest fucking Bruce Wayne ever, but going to be a good Batman, because it was stunt dudes. I know, because fucking, as I say, I watch loads of action films, but people that don't know might think that you can be a mangy little soy bitch like fucking Robert Pattinson and still fucking go out and fight crime. I don't think they're that crazed, but there was a few comments that I saw in that where one dude and that there was like, oh yeah, Robert Pattinson did a right good performance in that. And I'm thinking, yeah, you would think, because the director fucking did it good enough that you couldn't fucking really tell if you don't watch enough action films that no, that won't Robert Pattinson at all. Most of the Batman was fucking a stunt dude, and even a bit, as I say, even a bit of the fucking Bruce Wayne bit of stunt dude fucking doubled in for him. So I think it was like, oh no, we can't, because that was the funniest bit. A bit of a spoiler. Well, it's the first 10 minutes of the film, but the first time you see fucking Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, because I reckon 10 minutes of the well, I know definitely at least 5 minutes of it, where he's riding the bike and that, everything with stunt dudes and that, and then there's a bit where he gets into his sort of like bat shed, because it's not a cave, it's more of a shed, I think, nowadays. But anyway, he gets in there and takes off his mask or his cowl, and that's when it's like Robert Pattinson, and it's like shoulder height, like close up of his face, the one where he looks really emo and that, and then you see him in a t-shirt. And usually when you've got like superhero dudes and that, you get him to wear t-shirts like a size too small, so it looks like you can see all like the athletic muscles and the size of their sort of like physique and that, and so you can be like, oh yeah, he definitely works out in that. Well, in this, because Robert Pattinson skinny, he was like, right, get the biggest, blackest T-shirt you can find, at least elbow fucking length. And so, first time you see him, but you can see his forearms, and they're so scrawny, they're like a bat. And now, me and Captain Cockney Spock, we worked out why Robert Pattinson took this part, because it was it was mainly Captain Cockney Spock with that, but it was because Robert Pattinson played a vampire and that, and he's got something about bats. So he didn't know he was playing the Batman. He thought he was just going to play a man who turns into a bat at night and just flies around. And so he thought, well, I've got little skinny arms like a bat, and he's probably going to want to be playing like the batsman until he finds out like he's got to like hit balls with a bat, and he's got to lift up a cricket bat, and they'll have the ball CGI'd at him and that, but still his little arms have got to lift up that heavy cricket bat. They'll give him the latest one hollowed out like fuck, but still will his arms be able to take it? He'll probably complain and quit. But anyway, totally fucking like bad choice. But Matt Reeves, he sorted it out. Got a film that people are liking, because that's it. I didn't mind it because it was exactly how I thought it was going to be. Soy as fuck when anytime you saw Bruce Wayne as fucking Robert Pattinson, and a little bit soy now and again, because I know like they might give him a chance to wear the bat suit, but they weren't going to let him do any stunts. So there's them little bit soy bits where you see him as Batman, where he's nearly crying because the bat suit would have been so heavy for him. But soy as fuck Bruce Wayne and that, but fucking good action with the Batman, because fucking it's just stunt dudes. There's a scene, bit of a spoiler, where Batman leaps over this rail fence at like a nightclub or something and that, or a rave, and that, and about a 6 foot drop sort of thing. And so you know, oh yeah, Robert Pattinson, he wouldn't even dare to have looked over the rail on that 6 foot jump, never mind jump over it and that. Or if he had done, he'd have been wired up to fuck, or somewhere in some reality, crazed out. I'm fucking glad, fucking touch wood, I'm not fucking in there, but in some crazed out reality, Robert Pattinson fucking Tom Cruised it, but obviously he was shit, and but because he was the big star, he made him film every shit fucking action scene where he was doing the fighting, where it'd either been cut up to fuck, that is giving people fucking epilepsy fits and that, or it'd have been slow as fuck like a chick fight. Either way, I'm glad I'm not in that reality, but I wouldn't mind just to have a see of what film that would have made, just for a laugh. Oh yeah, because even Anna, that Star Wars girl, she's usually quite nice and and that about stuff. But even she like called fucking Robert Pattinson a scrawny little cunt. Well, she didn't call him a cunt. I sort of like added that, but she called him like scrawny. She was like, "Oh, I can't believe a scene where, like, a bit of a spoiler, like Batman's hanging off this like ledge with one arm, and that Star Wars girl had a. She was like, "Oh yeah, I just couldn't believe seeing Robert Pattinson being a scrawny cunt that like he could be able to hold himself with one arm on a ledge because like he's hanging off it." Well, because like I fucking, as I say, and I know what this film was gonna be like. I know he's a stunt dude and that, and so how I sort of pictured it was a bit like Shazam, where you have your little scrawny like child that is able to go out and do crime fighting as a full grown man. It is a bit far fetched, I know, because Batman hasn't got no magical powers. But then, because I was thinking, oh yeah, there is going to be a few people watching that, and it is going to be like, well, how can he be real scrawny and then go out being buffed up mech suit? Even though this is totally rewriting Batman again. Batman don't use a mech suit. But you could have had a scene where Robert Pattinson, his little scrawny body, goes into, obviously it'd be a Batman suit that you'd CGI to make it look like it's a mech suit that like forms around his body, and then he, and then you can get the stunt dude to like be turning around to the camera. It's like, oh yeah, that's how that little scrawny sort of like twiglet gets his masculine man muscles. Because the action is masculine in it, because there ain't much fighting with Catwoman, even though there's one or two scenes she has a fight in that, and it was filmed quite good in that. There was like, oh yeah, let's not go too fucking unrealistic. When she beats up dudes, let's not like just throw them around like she's fucking Wonder Woman. So like, yeah, there was a bit of some. I think it was sped up like, but to be fair though, the writing of it was quite believable, because Catwoman is supposed to be quite fit in that and able to like do some good kicks and that. So yeah, because she's a cat burglar, so she's supposed to have like strong legs and that, because she's always like climbing shit and that. And obviously, bit of a spoiler alert here in that Catwoman saves Batman, but only once. It's not as I thought, as bad as it could have been, where it's like, oh yeah, Catwoman's just gonna be saving Batman's ass all the way through it until near the end. No, it wasn't like that. She did save his ass on one occasion and that, but he was saving her ass, so it was like, oh yeah. But it was a stunt dude doing Batman, of course, so it was like, oh yeah. It could have been one of them where if they had put Robert Pattinson in the Batsuit, they might have been like, all right, well, most of the action is going to be done by Catwoman, because Robert Pattinson, we'll just get him to like do what he's been doing for the last fucking few months, curl up in a corner and start crying. But no, yeah, they had some good stunt bits and all, and most of it wasn't CGI'd. Obviously, there were some bits that was CGI'd, but it was one of them where very subtly they'd done it. Apart from there was one scene where, bit of a spoiler, and that Batman uses his cape as like one of them wingsuit gliding things where he just starts gliding down, and obviously they weren't going to let a stuntman don't do that shit because fucking, or if there was, it'd been on wires, which I think one of the shots might. But yeah, it was like a bit cut together, and they use special effects to like rather cut out the wires or like piece things together or put like padding over stuff, you know, pad out the floor, but then CGI it to make it look like it was concrete and that like it wasn't padded. So there'd have been like stuff like that because it was a very good visual scene in that to watch, but obviously it was one of them scenes where you could tell there's no way they'd have got a stuntman to have done that in one take. So you know there's going to be CGI somewhere along it in that. But most of the stunts, what I could tell, were practical. They're just like, oh yeah, we'll do it. Might have been a bit of padding here and there because the Batman suit would have been padded up, you know. Because there's a few bits where they're like, it's a bit of a spoiler, but not that much because you'd probably might have seen it in the trailers and that. But there's a bit where they grab Batman and start like throwing him to the ground and that shit, and so they're like padded up the Batman suit, so when he is getting thrown to the ground, it ain't gonna weigh as much, so he can like get the stuntman can anyway. If it had been Robert Pattinson, even with all that padding, I would have no one. It'd have been like having your porcelain china wrapped in some bubble wrap and letting stunt dudes kick the shit out of it. It would have been like, no, we're not having that. So yeah, so the stuntman, the fight, as I say, the Batman bits in it, they're done real good, because Robert Pattinson, as I say, he had a few fucking scenes in the bat suit where he'd walk up and down, but yeah. The thing is though, had to have padded him out a bit, and that would have like made him real sweaty, which would have made him lose more weight, and so they'd have been like, no, and there's a shot and all where he's got his shirt off and that's CGI to fuck. Like, they do a good job, as in it's hard to tell, but a few years from now and that, you know, when like CGI technology moves on and that, and then like what you thought was good CGI, you can see there definitely like the join lines and that on it. It's going to be one of them where you'll be watching that and be like, oh fuck it now. Is there anything apart from Pattinson's face in this film? Although they do have a bit of shots of him in the dark though, so it's like, oh yeah, we can't see your scrawny shoulders, or we can't see you being padded out, so we can't see your scrawny shoulders. Yeah. Oh, terrible fucking Bruce Wayne. But Matt Reeves did a fucking good job. Yeah, I was saying Matt Reeves, it was probably like, there's been a few, but it's quite rare where that the director would have been happy when he heard that, oh yeah, Robert Pattinson won't turning up to the set, because then they'd been like, yep, there we go then, get the stunt dudes in, fucking buzzing, yeah. And that's why he probably, in the end, maybe told Robert Pattinson, oh yeah, The film's finished. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can go home now. Yeah, yeah. We don't need him no more. We'll just CGI his fucking mouth onto the fucking stunt dude's fucking Batman's fucking cowl. Because, yeah, stunt dudes in that, there's going to be one stunt dude who probably be getting a right big. Well, there's going to be quite a few stunt dudes because there's probably about 3 or 4 maybe stunt dudes who played Batman in different roles, probably in that, you know, doing different stunts and that. But there'd have been one stunt dude who'd have done most of it, you know, like because they'd been like, right, yeah, we don't have to fuck around too much, you know, just you're the one who looks mostly like fucking Robert Pattinson. We'll use you, mate. And so that stunt dude, he's gonna be buzzing to fuck. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, look, you want to see me as Batman for like half hour of the film, and that's just in one take. But yeah, I bet you though, there was a stunt dude who probably had more. Well, I'm not saying probably, definitely there was a stunt dude who definitely had more screen time than Robert Pattinson, and that's in his own fucking movie. But that's what happens when you bunch of soy-head bitches who like don't know shit about action films and that think that, oh yeah, Robert Pattinson, we can make him into Batman. No, the can't even. Well, Matt Reeves, he fucking did a great job, as I say, for what he fucking had to fucking work with. As I say, there should be a fucking new fucking award fucking made. But yeah, it was the shittest, soyest fucking Bruce Wayne ever. So the stunt dudes had to make the fucking action good. Cause yeah, the Catwoman face mask looks a bit like tacky, and that's because I think they had to spend so much time CGIing fucking Robert Pattinson's face, or his mouth at least, onto the fucking stunt dudes, and that they didn't have time to like do her mask because they could. I think they was gonna like CGI Batwoman, a Catwoman's mask onto her, but all the CGI fucking team, the special effects fucking department was all fucking on having to make Robert Pattinson look like he had a fucking decent physique. So yeah. Yeah, but it's been a long fucking video, this one, so I'll sort of like summarise some of my thoughts in 2 minutes, hopefully. But yeah, so the Batman film, it's a half of a good film. The half where fucking all the action's going down and that, fucking great. And then if you're into your fucking cryptic clues and a bit of puzzle solving here and there, you've got your nice little fucking puzzly bits. But then half of the film is shit because you got to look at fucking Robert Pattinson's face, and as I say, because of his little scrawny shoulders, it's fucking big zoom in fucking face shots, and so yeah, I was like, oh no. But anyway, it was exactly what I said it'd be though. A shit soy fucking Bruce Wayne, but a pretty good fucking, well, I'd say a great action fucking Batman. But the stunt dudes, so that is their job. So fucking well fucking good action though. As I say, there's some great action scenes in it, but yeah, that's because fucking Robert Pattinson had nothing to do with the fucking fighting or action scenes when it came to Batman. He probably didn't even do any of the fucking running and all. As I say, Robert Pattinson, the only things they'd let him do would be walk, sit, and maybe sit up if he felt okay. Well, yeah, that's my sort of like thoughts on that. So, thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.